when you go to shows and go to vendor shows and go to card shops, whatever, I have an immediate red flag raised the moment I see folks not putting stickers on their cards. So for example, what you're about to see right now, this is my booth. This is me back in October. That's my booth. Everything you can kind of see. Everything is stickered. Got the base set packs, got the rocket packs. Everything is stickered. All the prices are stickered. And that's what my booth looks like. So I think, for me personally, I think it's very professional to have your stickers on your cards, personally. So let's talk about it. So let me see. So I had a checklist here because I really wanted to try to articulate my points well. So let me see if I have my notes here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Do this. Make sure you guys don't see anything weird. Go back here. Boom. 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 All right. So pros and cons of price stickering at shows. So you guys kind of know where I stand. I think it's good. So let's start with kind of where I have the pros. Do I still have a team rocket packs? No, this was back in October. I sold them all. It actually gave one away because they were the first ones to complete a challenge. But I can talk about that. I don't want to get sidetracked too much. So the pros and cons of price stickering at shows. So here are my pros. So I think the first one, which is the biggest one for me, is instant transparency. So I think it's huge to have all your stuff be as transparent and to the book as possible. Meaning that when a customer walks by at a booth or show or whatever, they look, they see the price, and they can immediately think whether or not they want to pursue it or negotiate or move on. Easy, simple, they don't have to do anything. Because some people just simply do not want to talk or ask the person directly, like to knock them out of this kind of, this flow that they're like walking around, they're seeing stuff, they see no prices. It's like, okay, now I got to stop and ask the guy what the prices are. Some of that will deter people from actually stopping. And so I think with those stickers, it adds a little bit of fluidity to the overall experience. And so having said that, I think the next one is the customer's first impression. Because I don't know if you guys are like this, but for me, when I kind of turn my brain on from a vendor to a customer, I have a feeling or a suspicion that when someone does not have their prices marked, I know that the moment I say, hey, how much is this Charizard from Plasma Storm? I know that they're going to look at TCG Player and try to get the absolute maximum market price to give to me, regardless of how much they bought it for or whatever. So I know that they're going to try to squeeze every penny out of me. So I already am going into it not feeling good. Whereas if they had it stickered, even if it was at the same sticker price, I know, okay, I think that's high, I move on, or I think that's high, let me negotiate. I can kind of make that assessment on my own prior to me opening my mouth. And I like the ability to do that. Even if the prices are high or whatever, I'd rather have that experience versus sitting there waiting for him to type it in his phone or whatever. It's like, oh, it's this. Personally, that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. But I think the first impression is everything. And that's kind of personally how I feel when I that's my first impression of that. I also think with the stickers, if someone on the alternative, if they think a price is lower than market, then it encourages a fast sale. And you can just say, hey, in my brain, I say, hey, that card is under market. I'm going to pick it up immediately. And I'm not going to open my mouth to say, hey, like, how much is that card? And then they say, oh, wow, this is lower than I expected. And then they inflate it. If they already have it listed low and you know that you can take advantage of it, not only does that say, hey, this guy sometimes has lower than market stuff, it also says, hey, the next time I see this guy, I'm going to go to his booth to see if there's anything else good in the future. And that recycling and bringing back those customers can often offset that, sure, you didn't make the extra 15. Like I was talking about with the Charizard EX. Sure, I didn't make that extra 40, but I would bet money that that person that had a $30 deal by going through my website is going to go back to my website to look at cards in the future to see if I have anything else that's slightly under market. And you know what? I'll take that all day. If I can get that same customer to come back over and over and over just because they were able to get a deal, great. That's awesome. They're awesome that they had a great experience enough to come back. They got a deal. I'm about it. I want that customer retention. And that goes back to the word of mouth. So if I say that, hey, that booth is actually, you know, they have their stickers. Some of them is like under market. You should go over there, because I can tell you from personal experience, and Ribeye can speak up to where when because there is a show, for example, there's a show that we went to that we heard through the grapevine that people were selling those, these right here, chat, these trick or trade booster packs. They're selling them at their booth for $1 a piece. To me, that is crazy that you're selling these for $1 a piece. So that went super quick. Like, we were talking about that with everyone. Like, we're saying, like, I don't know how people could, like, I don't know how a booth could charge $1 for a pack that you could literally give away to children at Halloween. I don't get it. That word of mouth goes very quickly in a convention that's only 2 days long. And so the reverse of that is, hey, those guys have really good sales. Those guys give really good deals on stuff. Their stickers, it's all transparent. If I get foot traffic from good word of mouth, that's great. All because I just took the time to price my stuff out. So I think that's really good. So when they come back with the word of mouth, you know, and those stickers, like I was talking about before, there's still that room for negotiation. So they already know exactly where I'm at. There's that transparency. There's not this like wild west on like who's gonna say the first price first. I don't mind. I'm just gonna say, hey, here's where I'm at. That's a good starting point. If you want to start the conversation there, let's do it. So that game has already kind of been played. I'm the one saying what my price is first, and if they want to start, great. And that's how you go it. So those are the pros of stickering your cards. Now there is, you know, even though I'm pro pricing stuff to begin with, I also recognize a few like negatives or cons of it. So the first one, especially for Pokemon, I can tell you that I'm still not even halfway through like stickering all my stuff, right? So like for example, this Zapdos, I don't know if this is accurate or not, because this has been, so like this Zapdos EX, all those stickers, I have to do that hundreds of times throughout this entire week. I do nothing but look at TCG Player, make sure that the market price is updated, sticker it, move on, sticker it, move on. That takes me legitimately, with the inventory that I have, about a full week to properly do it. And by the time the week is done, the stuff I started with is probably already out of date, especially with how crazy the market is. So it's really this like weird cat and mouse game that ultimately, you know, there are going to be cards that even I stickered 2 days ago. They're probably going to be higher or probably going to be lower than what the actual market is. So if you don't sticker, you have that ability to meet the market at where it actually is, because you're actively looking it up at the time. The other part, kind of going back to, you know, some people who are comfortable with negotiating, there might be some people who say, hey, they have their prices on the card. They may have that be, okay, that price is firm. I'm not negotiating at all. Like, I can't negotiate. This is what they want. I feel like I can't negotiate. So there are some people who feel like they can't because the price is not there, because it doesn't open up that, it doesn't get them talking. So it may not open that door for a conversation. And again, we talked about the sticker fatigue that I was talking about. It takes me about a week, legitimately, with the inventory that I have. If I have a full, like 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, it does take a lot of time. I would say, what else? Just looking at my notes here. So the competitive disadvantage, that one was a good one, to where if there are people like from other booths, because I've done this before, where just to kind of get like a finger to the pulse, so to speak, to like walk around and say, hey, like, you know, I have, like, for example, I have my Charizard stickered at 460. Like, are they now going to undercut me because I've presented what I'm willing to sell it for? So if they want to sell theirs for a little bit more, a little bit less, or whatever, they can say, oh, well, that booth has it actually for $10 more, you know, so you just, you know, you can just buy it from me because that booth over there has it for 460. I'll sell it to you for 450. So they can have that as a negotiation tactic as well to incentivize a deal, because they're basically calling me as, oh, that's the one that has the higher of the cards. So those are kind of the pros and cons that I thought of. So ultimately, I'm at the end of the day, I'm pro sticker. I think it's a big transparency thing. But what do you guys think?